What's up everybody, this is Crowbar, and today I'm bringing you a quick review of the Dragon Quest Builders demo. Now, I'm not working with the full title here, just the free demo, so this is largely going to be like a first impressions and a general overview of the game, based entirely off what we can learn from the demo itself. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the brief story that's in the demo, as well as any of the little secret bits I was able to track down while I was playing, so let's get started. So the first question on everybody's mind is pretty much, is this just a Minecraft clone with a Dragon Quest skin on top of it? You know, Minecraft has a tendency of doing like their texture packs and their mashup packs that change the game around a little bit, but it's still the same core game, just with a new, can of paint on it. So is this that? I will say that was a major concern I had myself when first looking at the game, but I'm happy to say that no, it's really not. The game does take some cues from Minecraft and other voxel-based games, other crafting games in general, but it is really its own beast, and the devs found a really interesting way, I think, to blend the elements of the voxel crafters and Dragon Quest together. So how's it different? Well, let's just go bit by bit and see, shall we? For starters, the game is played in third person, and I was not able to change that camera angle through any of the options I had available to me in the demo, and I'm pretty sure you can't change it, period, based off of how the game plays. That may sound like a small difference, but it really does change the way that you interact with your environment as a whole. It's much easier to know where the enemies are around you, as well as get a grasp on the full area that you're building in, because you're going to be building very different things to what you normally build in Minecraft. You can also zoom the camera in real close and get a nice pretty shot of your hands and face. Oh, look at that. So beautiful. I know there is a third-person camera in Minecraft, but no one uses it to actually play the game in. Like, ever. Unfortunately, at this point in time, as of this recording anyway, the game is only single player. And while I don't think that a game needs to have a multiplayer, quite the contrary, I think there are plenty of games that get multiplayers shoehorned in that don't need them at all. With crafting games, I always find it helps them a lot. Minecraft is a great example, but there are others like 7 Days to Die, and even some like little mobile games that are voxel crafters that still have multiplayer support, and I always find it a lot more fun to craft with a friend. You always feel like you're getting more done, even if you're working on two completely separate projects, and it's always just nice to have somebody to chat with while you're doing the more menial tasks that the game requires you to do. The biggest difference between the games is definitely going to be the building mechanics itself. So in Minecraft-style games, building tends towards the grand. You might start your first night in a little mud hut in order to survive, but after a while, most players are going to move on to greater and greater things. Some build towers, some build mansions, some build real-world cities, some build the entire setting of Game of Thrones just for kicks, but most people are going to move out of that mud hut, and even the ones who stay in that mud hut are going to make that mud hut better and more conducive to what they're trying to do in the game. I'm sure the building mechanics of the main game do indeed lend themselves to building more fantastic structures over time, but unfortunately, you're not going to get that far in the demo. The only building material you're going to have access to for the entirety of the demo is dirt, but that's enough to get you the basics and get a solid grasp on how building is going to work in this game. You're going to gather all your resources, including the building resources, by whacking the crap out of whatever it is you're trying to collect with a tool or weapon. Unlike in Minecraft, you can't even damage any blocks that you don't have the ability to collect at this point in time. In the demo, the only tools you're going to have are sticks and clubs, and thusly the only resources you're going to be able to gather is dirt. As for what you can build, you'll be primarily building rooms. This reminds me a lot visually of like the old NES Dragon Quests, where you would go inside a house and then the map entirely turns into just a kind of grid style screen with different rooms that serve different purposes. You can connect these rooms with doors to form a more cohesive house-looking structure, or any given room can stand by itself as a building if you would like. For a structure to count as a basic room, it needs to have at least 2 block-high walls on all sides, 1 door, and at least 1 light source. But a basic room isn't going to help you too much. You need your rooms to have a purpose, to have dreams, to aspire to greater things. And to achieve that end, you're going to need to place special items inside them to give them an actual use. You could place down a couple of beds and build yourself a basic bedroom where you can rest for the day or night and advance the clock. Or you could drop a cooking spit to make a basic kitchen where your townsfolk can come and cook meals for you. On that note, your rooms will also have specific uses in conjunction with your townspeople, but we'll get to that more when I go through the story of the demo. Finally, the last major game mechanic that differs from Minecraft is the combat. The game makes a very big point of explaining to you very early on that you are the builder, not the hero. No matter how many monsters you go out and kill, no matter how many swords you make or shields you break, you will not gain a single bit of XP. The only way to get stronger in combat is to wear better armors and wield better weapons. And this is going to feel a little odd for a lot of gamers, but it's actually very in keeping with old Dragon Quest games, where even though you could level up, the best stat bonuses you would ever get in the game came from your equipment, not from your skills. Combat is set entirely in real time, monsters are physically in the world at all times, and they roam around as they wish. To attack, you simply stroll on up and start swinging away. You can also dodge their attacks by simply walking out of the way before zipping back in to dole out more punishment. Not all monsters are hostile on sight, at least not in the demo version, but all of them can be attacked all the same, and you're definitely going to be monster hunting from time to time in order to harvest some of the rarer resources that only they carry. Quick side note, magic also seems to be present in the game. Both the chimeras and evil trees in the demo will cast spells at you, complete with that beautiful little nostalgic magic jingle from Dragon Quest I. But they can also be dodged with some quick footwork. It's possible you might get to sling some spells of your own at some point, but not in this version. Alright, that pretty much covers the main mechanics of the game, so let's talk about the demo story now. The game takes place in Alfgard, which is the same location, or world anyway, as Dragon Quest I, and is going to be kind of an alternate telling of that story, or at the very least it splits off towards the end of that story. The opening cutscene shows us the Dragon Lord offering half of the world to someone who we don't know. This ends up being the original hero from Dragon Quest I, and unlike in the actual game, this time the hero takes that deal. This ends up being a trap, and eventually the hero is defeated or killed by monsters, who then take control of his half of the world. As the game proper opens up, in an underground temple and a shallow, open-top grave, you are awakened by the goddess Rubis. She walks us through the basic control tutorial for the game, which is actually fairly amusing for a tutorial. Moving around, jumping, breaking stuff, that kind of good stuff. After a brief bit of time underground, you'll make your way out of the temple and into the world proper. You'll be given the Banner of Hope from the goddess and shown the ruins of Canton. Once you plant your banner in the center of the ruins, you'll spread the light of hope to a small region around you, and you'll meet Pippa, your first friend and townsfolk. Pippa will walk you through more of the game's basics by asking your help with some simple tasks. These are going to include building houses and rooms, supplying torches, making beds, gathering food, making chests, and making special rooms like a kitchen or a mason's workshop. In these special rooms, your townsfolk can actually make things on their own and leave them for you, which gets pretty helpful over time. Now Pippa is going to send you off to find another person that she saw wandering around earlier on. She didn't talk to this person originally because she was scared of him, but now you're going to need to seek him out. After a short trek around the south side of the island, you'll eventually find Rollo, hiding from monsters in a mud hut. Rollo will follow you back to the village and explain that he is the holder of the Canton Chronicle, which is apparently a very, very old book with lots and lots of knowledge in it, but he won't let you look at it, even though you could probably read it. As such, Rollo will now join Pippa in giving you more tasks to learn some more of the basics of the game, such as making a chimera wing, a basic kitchen, using said kitchen, decorating and upgrading your town level, and finally, defending your town against aggressive monsters with Rollo's help, of course. After the battle against the skeletons, you'll collect the blue tablet fragments from Rubus, which are used to build a teleportal. Talking to Rollo after the battle will reveal how to build the teleportal, as well as summon the final member of your town, LaRouche. And finally, once you build the teleportal and build yourself a teleporter room, which I think is called a teleporterarium, Rollo will tell you of the Giant's Mallet, and that through the portal is the place where it can be found. The Giant's Mallet is needed to build things out of wood and stone, as well as lots of other things, and is probably the main tool for the game, as far as I can tell by context clues. But unfortunately, this is where the demo is going to end, because trying to use the portal will simply stop you. Alright, that pretty much wraps it up. Before we go, though, let's talk about some secrets I managed to find while playing around with this thing. So in the southern area, around where you found Rollo, there is a ruined temple. It doesn't seem to have any use in the demo, at least not as far as I could tell, and you can't even break any pieces of it because you still only have their sticks and the clubs. But I imagine it probably has some purpose in the main game, if nothing else just to maybe learn how to make some of that stone masonry by picking it up. I'm not really sure. If you're standing in town in Canton and kind of spin your camera to the west, you'll see a long blue stone wall that's part of a mountain, but you can see also a divot in it, and if you approach the divot, you'll find a pretty short little cave that has an actual, like, trap encounter in it. When you try to open the chest within the cave, some imps will pop up, and you just have to fight them, and you'll get yourself an extra seed of life out of it, which ups your HP by 5. If you go towards the north of town and kind of skirt along the beach, you'll eventually reach another wall made of mountain, and a bunch of chimeras are flying all over the place. And if you take some dirt and build your way over the top of it and down the other side again, you can find another small kind of islet that has more food and stuff like that, but more specifically has a large green dragon sitting on the middle of a plain. You can fight this dragon in the demo, and you can kill him. He won't actually move from his spot, but he'll spin to face you. He has 2 attacks as far as I can tell, a fire breath, which is fairly easy to dodge, and a tail swipe. And if you're very patient, maybe set yourself up a small little hut with a bed so you can skip through the nights so you don't have to deal with the dragon and ghosts. And make yourself a lot of healing salves from the white flowers that you can find all over the place. You can absolutely beat this dragon. It will take a lot of time. I think it took me about half an hour to whittle him down. But he'll reward you with a comfy green sofa that won't match any of your fucking furniture. And finally, if you head south from where the dragon is, or if you build up over the side of the mountain that had the cave, you can find yourself in the poisoned and blighted swamp, which is full of evil trees. The trees don't seem to drop anything super special, aside from maybe occasional shrubs that you can plant to up the points in your town ever so slightly. But yeah, just a nifty little area. There's probably more use for this place in the actual game. There may be a few more secrets, but that's pretty much all I was able to find. So let's wrap this up with a bit of a final thought kind of thing. So, after spending a fairly decent amount of time on the game, like I said, it took me about half an hour just to kill the stupid dragon, I'm happy to say that it is a decent amount of fun. Provided you like crafting games to begin with, I think you'll find a good time here. Like I said at the top, I think the devs found a really nice way of weaving the voxel crafter into that of the Dragon Quest gameplay in a way that makes the game very much feel like it has its own identity. So if you're worried about it being a Minecraft clone, you can put those worries to bed for sure. It is definitely a game that has its own sense of heart, I guess, if you'll pardon the cheesy fucking line. Far and away, my largest issue with the game is genuinely its price point. I don't personally believe that $60 is too much for a new game, and at the time of recording this, it is still selling for $60. But I don't know. Hopefully, there's more to do in the core game itself. I think I'd be more willing to pay that price if the game had multiplayer. I don't think I would bat an eye on it if I knew that I'd be able to play this with my friends and build some really interesting stuff. But with the lack of multiplayer at this point in time, it kind of puts a bit of a damper on that. I'd also probably be more willing to give it a chance at that price tag if the demo had let me do a little bit more. Demos are kind of a gamble, in my opinion. It definitely made me pay more attention to this game than I would have. Because if I hadn't had the access to the demo, I would have definitely assumed it was just Minecraft plus Dragon Quest. But because I was able to get a tiny little taste, but not really enough of a taste, I'm not really sure if it has enough depth to keep my interest for that amount of money. I even saw across the water from my island a landmass that had lots of visible, interesting-looking resources, and also a broken bridge that I tried to repair to try to get over to an area with different monsters, but the game won't let you do either, and really it kind of just kind of stopped me and killed my interest really close to the end of my time with the demo, which was a little unfortunate. So aside from those few issues, which frankly is genuinely just one issue, if they drop the price on this, I will probably pick it up. But if the price point doesn't bother you and you liked what you saw, you will probably have a lot of fun with this game. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to see more videos maybe similar to this one. This is the first real review I've done, but I've got a lot of other entertaining content that I think is pretty good. And I'll see you flockers later. Bye, guys.